seeing people share things where it's like they've ranked #1 in SEO, but their geo is not there. So I think it's a lot of heavier focus on brand mentionings and PR.
Welcome everyone. Today we're joined by Peter Rota, one of the top SEO experts in the United States. Recently ranked number 6 in SEO marketing and sales. He was ranked nationally by Favikon, highlighting his expertise within the field. Peter is an elite technical and on-page SEO specialist with over 10 years of real-world experience. So today we're here to unpack real insights with technical SEO in the AI search era. So let's give it up for Peter Rota. Welcome to the show. The first question that we want to address today, and what everyone has for you, Peter, is what pulled you into SEO and how has your focus changed since AI search emerged?
I guess my backstory is originally went to school for sports management, and then I basically had a sports blog at the time, and I was looking for ways to promote it. And as one does, they start doing Google searches, and I think I put in like digital marketing or internet marketing, and I kept hearing the term search engine optimization mentioned. And basically I had a blogger site, so I applied some of the stuff on there, had some success, and then thought to get an internship, and then I got another internship and then a job kind of doing like local listings / like basic SEO.
And would you say you've gone into the wider part is because you're freelance and because of projects that you've done yourself and getting yourself out there? Or if you would have stayed in a normal role, would you have branched out in the other channels?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. That same job, 2 years into it, I got like fired because like I was too negative. So basically I ended up getting into freelance because of that. So I think it's I almost recommend that to everyone just starting out, to kind of get exposed to as much as you can, because you can learn new things, and it's forced me to like learn more about AI and learn new things. So like, yeah, I'm definitely happy I've gotten into it.
So in the last 2 years, what surprised you the most about SEO, technical SEO?
I feel like in the past, like people almost wrote it off like it wasn't important, but we see with LLMs that many of them do not actually render JavaScript besides Gemini, so it's really important that you do have your technical SEO. So I mean, basically making sure that they can render the content in the source code, and then kind of a lot of more semantic SEO where it's like put the most information at the top, make sure you're using bullets, declarative sentences. Schema has almost had a resurgence too. I've kind of wrote it off as like not much benefit beyond the rich results, but I feel like now people are actually trying to put more impact on it. So I'd probably say those two things.
And so with AI-driven search, with
Yeah.
this at the front now, you're basically saying that good SEO is perfect for LLM SEO. But is there any specific things that you would highlight that are top priority? Maybe you've just covered some, but is there anything that you'd highlight of like these are the major things that will cause you to rank in LLMs?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, I think there is some good SEO, but it's not always equal to good geo, at least what I'm seeing in the results. I mean, I'm seeing people share things where it's like they've ranked #1 in SEO, but their geo is not there. So I think it's a lot of heavier focus on brand mentionings and PR. And I think it's taken the kind of changed what determines success. Like in the past, it was like basically rank high, get clicks, people will convert on your website. Now it's like I think it's a lot heavier focus on your overall brand ecosystem and how people are finding you online, and how like you showing up on Reddit and discussion forums and things like that. So I think it's just kind of making these machines jobs as easy as possible. So you're using bullets, you're using semantic SEO. So it's like if you have a question for your H1, you're answering it almost immediately.
Now, on the next question there, which technical SEO issue now matters that didn't 2 years ago. Is there anything like technical SEO that people need to be aware of now?
If you had a client-side JavaScript website, Google could eventually crawl that and render it. But if you're basically having SPA, a single-page application, or heavily JavaScript framework, besides Gemini, they're basically not going to see that. So it's super important that you have all your important content and links in basically the plain rendered source.
And that leads me on to like LLM text and what you allow the bot to access. Would you say that's massively important? I've heard a lot of mixed reviews online that people are saying does matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't change. What would your opinion on that, Peter, be?
One of our sites right now, we felt LLMs are basically able to crawl it, and it looks like they've been getting blocked by Cloudflare. So by default, now Cloudflare is being pretty aggressive with how they're blocking AI bots. So you really want to look at your crawl logs and get a better idea of what's being crawled and what's not, and if they're having any issues.
So what would be a simple fix for that if someone who's new to it or don't know much technical understanding of how to fix that?
Cloudflare does have resources on that, so usually you can find them on their website. I don't know the specific link, but I've seen posts where they talk about like how to do it.
Peter, could you walk us through a recent technical win you led? The issue, also the fix, and then the impact it had.
I basically was reached out to by a men's health brand in Australia, and they basically had been hit pretty hard with a core update. So I basically reviewed their website, and I saw a lot of the pages were like more than 4 or so clicks lower than in the website. So I basically prescribed essentially moving a lot of the pages up higher up in the hierarchy through a sitemap and breadcrumbs, and then heavily focused on using a lot more contextual internal links. And they saw a pretty good increase as far as like keywords ranked and overall traffic. And then there was another one where the website I worked on initially, it was fully client-side JavaScript. So basically I had it so they set up the server-side rendering, and that improved our indexing a ton. And we saw a boost in like clicks as well.
Which analytics or tracking setups matter now for AI visibility, not just for traditional search?
Yeah, so I think the fundamental point with AI, where it's like you can get cited and mentioned, but you're not going to get a click. So I think you need to basically set up in your analytics, or basically set up, I think with GA4, which I'm still not a fan of, you need to set up basically tracking events or something to see how you're basically being showed, basically getting clicks or visits from LLMs. You want to have like a visibility to like a SEMrush or an Ahrefs, where they're showing how you're showing up in the citations when you're being when you're being mentioned, when you're being clicked, how your share of voices, things like that. Also, something I've actually posted about, which is like, don't expect your AI traffic to replace organic traffic, because AI, I think, sends like, it was like maybe 1% or 0.10% versus Google, which sends like 246 more times of traffic. So I think it's just realizing that yeah, your traffic's going down, but you want to pay more attention to your leads, conversions, and just having those important conversations with stakeholders and just showing them the reality of what success is now versus what it used to be 5 years ago, and just being transparent as far as like, it's probably going to be less and less people will go to your website, but when they do, they'll probably convert better.
Yeah. We had a funny question a viewer had as well. So is it true that SEO is the cause of balding, or is it that bald guys are just naturally good at SEO?
Wow, speaking to a fellow baldy. No, I'm just kidding. I think because you lose your hair, you have to become better at your profession. So, I mean, I've been always decent at SEO. I didn't get bald until I was like, I think in my 30s. So, SEO became before that. So, I think I became good because of SEO.
Great. For general SEO, for like Google, etc. But do backlinks matter for LLM SEO?
Yeah, they're still super important essentially because if you have a backlink, it's often accompanied with a mention, or sometimes you even have a branded mention for a backlink, so you're still going to get benefits there. So I think
Mhm.
it's still going to matter for sure.
Now, on the next question there, which technical SEO issue now matters that didn't 2 years ago? Is there anything like technical SEO that people need to be aware of now that will affect anything within AI overviews and LLM, citations within chats?
If you had a client side JavaScript website, Google could eventually crawl that and render it. But if you're basically have an SPA, a single page application, or heavily JavaScript framework, besides Gemini, they're basically not going to see that. So it's super important that you have all your important content and links in basically the plain rendered source. I think another thing too, it's like not like a technical issue, but going back to kind of a heavier focus on like semantic HTML. I think technical SEO in the past was a heavy focus just only on specifically your website versus now you're having to focus on how you're appearing on LLMs, and then obviously like social media and some other things. So those kind of influence your overall technical how Google and LLMs are viewing you.
Great. So the next question we have there, Peter, is crawl and rendering. What do you check today for crawlability and indexability that tripped people up before? Like, is there anything that they need to know here?
Do you have a good website structure? Are you basically, as your crawl depth, like close to possible to the root domain? Do you have breadcrumbs which make it easier for search engines and LLMs to do there? Are you being mentioned like online? Um, I mean, I would say those things as well, and then the also like JSON schema too, where it's like I've seen not all the time, but there's some websites where they'll only have the JSON schema on the rendered copy.
What skills will top SEOs need in 2026 that they don't have today?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going back to becoming more of a marketer beyond just SEO. So you kind of want to become better as far as like copywriting, have a better understanding of UX, which is something I'm working on. Kind of have a better understanding of LLMs work, which I'm working on as well. I would say improving on like your soft skills and things like that. So knowing how to like sell ideas and things like that if you don't already know how. And yeah, I mean, I'd say those are like the most important ones I see at this point.
Right, Peter. So next question, what we can look at is what are 3 actions viewers can take right after this episode?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely review your crawl logs, get a better understanding of how LLMs are crawling your website to see if there's any issues there. If your website is heavily in JavaScript, at least client side, make sure that's rendered JavaScript. Focus on definitely getting into those listicles and being why your competitors are mentioned, because those will help a lot too. And definitely schema as well. So using same as if you're on like your about page to connect all the entities that are related to you while you're showing up online. So I say all those things.
Peter, can you just share like what type of hobbies, like what interests you, what keeps you striving for more outside of work?
For most of my life, I've been super into fitness and working out. So I feel like I get a ton of energy from that. It's great for my mental health, and it also boosts my SEO because I feel like I have more clarity. Um, I'm also into eating pretty healthy, so I try to do that, but I'm also really into trying new donuts. I'm a foodie.
Peter, so for those who are wanting to learn more about you or even see your work and to learn from you, where could they find your work or where could they find your information?
Yeah, it can be found if you Google Peter Rota. I come up at least for my LinkedIn, then my website as well, peterrotaseo.com. Primarily do a lot of technical SEO, but I also do local SEO and a lot of on-page slash I've done some backlink analysis too, as far as just that too. So I would say my bread and butter is on-page and technical at this point.
So it was a pleasure having Peter on. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your expertise. If you do want to follow Peter, his LinkedIn handle is in the description below. You can also find a link to his website and also to his Upwork too. Thank you very much. I hope you've got some insight from today's show. We'll be having some amazing guests over in the new year. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can catch the next one.